Well, good morning, South Mississippi. This is Meteorologist Aaron Colby. It is a really nice Saturday morning. Some of us did see some of that fog out there, but as of right now, things, for the most part, have started to clear out. That dense fog advisory does continue until 10 a.m., and in some spots, the fog may linger a little bit longer than that. But as of right now, you can see out there right now, Hancock, Whitney, Cameron, and Gulfport, things are mostly clear at the moment. We do have a temperature of 70 degrees already. We're going to warm up very quickly as we head into these midday and early afternoon hours. Dew point in the 60s, though, humidity a little bit lower, but that is just because the fog is not directly over the airport right now. Like I said, the dense fog advisory continues for our coastal counties until 10 a.m. It's possible some spots may see the fog linger longer than that. Others maybe not even seeing the fog last that long. So it's very, very patchy at the moment, very hit or miss if you're going to be seeing that dense fog or not. But if you do end up traveling through some of this, just make sure you use those low beams and take a little extra time. That way you can travel safely. Now, as we go through the weekend, overall our forecast is very, very low chance of rain. We're going to keep the partly cloudy skies throughout most of the weekend. Now, there could be a few showers maybe this evening, and as we go into tomorrow, there's a slightly higher chance of catching a few showers. Once again, it's still a pretty low chance. You can see it there. It is. By Sunday afternoon, some scattered showers over in Louisiana. Some of them may try to make it over into South Mississippi. But the really big thing we need to talk about is a very strong cold front that will be moving through as we get into very early Monday morning. Now, our high and low temperature is going to be a little tricky as we go into Monday because, typically we say that the high is your afternoon, the low is your morning temperature, and that's how the cycle typically works. Monday, we're going to be seeing that temperature dramatically drop during the day. So that low temperature may actually occur in the afternoon, whereas the high temperature may actually occur before the sun even rises. So let's once again kind of look at this as the afternoon temperatures up until that front gets there. Monday, very, very tricky, and then we return back to those afternoon temperatures. But the weekend overall is looking very warm. We're still way above average for this time of year. We'll be looking at low to mid 70s both today and tomorrow as well. Some spots may even climb, try especially north of I-10. Some spots may be trying to get up there into those mid, maybe upper 70s in some spots. So very, very warm as we go through the weekend. But those afternoon temperatures are going to be very cold, especially as we go into Monday and Tuesday. Now, like I said, it's very, very tricky here to kind of talk about Monday. It kind of feels reversed, but let me show you what this looks like using this version of Futurecast. As we go through the early morning hours, you're going to see here that front starts to arrive, and there it is. This is about 5 or 6 o'clock in the morning. That front starts to draw through. Out in front of the front, areas are in the 60s, but back behind it, look how quickly this temperature really starts to drop. 8 o'clock in the morning, we are now dropping from the 60s to the 40s in some spots, and maybe even getting lower than that. So it's going to be also very windy behind this front. Winds will be gusting around 15 to 20 miles per hour, maybe even more. So wind chills, you want to bring that another 10 degrees down, and that's what the feels like, or the wind chill will be like out there. So very, very cold as we go into the midday hours on Monday. Notice here you start to see the daylight heating starts to kick in. We maybe try to warm a few degrees back into the 50s, but that very dry, very cold air kind of racing in behind the front is going to try and kind of counteract that a little bit. A lot of us may remain in the 40s as we head into Monday afternoon. Some of us may try to work our way back up into the 50s. It just really depends on how much daylight heating we can get and if it is enough to counter that very cold air that is going to be rushing in right behind that cold front. But here's one thing for sure. As we go into Monday nights, it's going to get very, very cold, and it's going to happen very quickly. Going into Monday evening, most of us are going to start dropping into those low 40s, upper 30s rather quickly, and especially by early Tuesday morning, it's going to be very cold across the area. Most of us will be seeing a light freeze. Some inland areas could make it down into the 20s. And you can see right on the coast expecting to be right around freezing. So definitely coastal areas, light freeze or frost possible. Inland areas, light freeze to potentially a hard freeze for Tuesday morning. Let's talk about Wednesday morning. The coldest air continues to filter in. By Wednesday morning, we are looking at 20s across all of South Mississippi. That is a hard freeze for the entire coast and all of our inland areas. So that is kind of the more severe day for this cold weather. This is the day we absolutely need to be protecting all 4 Ps. Remember, your plants, your pets, your pipes, and your people. That's the day that we want to do that, but as you saw, it is going to be a very close call for Tuesday as well. So definitely as we move into Monday, that's when you really need to start these preparations. Because it is going to be cold and it's going to get cold very quickly, so you're not going to have a lot of time to kind of make these preparations over a few days. Looking at back to today, let's kind of talk about the weekend a little bit. If you have any outdoor plans, it's going to be very nice out there. Especially when we were looking at the numbers we just saw, it's kind of hard to believe that we were actually going to have a really nice weekend here on the coast. Temperatures will be in the mid to upper 70s in some parts of South Mississippi. On the coast, which is where this forecast is for, will be in about the low to mid 70s. But partly to mostly cloudy skies, a few showers possible at times. If you're heading out to the Harbor Lights tonight, you'll be in the 60s with some passing clouds, maybe a little bit more cloud cover as we go into the evening. By the late evening, once again, a couple stray showers may be possible. Let's kind of recap everything. Let's put this all together on the 7-day forecast. Very warm over the weekend, fog possible. Not only what's left out there this morning, but tomorrow morning. We want to watch for that fog once again. Going into Monday, remember, you're going to see that temperature plummet throughout the day, and you can see that's why in the white box below, your quote-unquote low or morning temperature may actually be much warmer than what we go into the afternoon with. But then heading into Tuesday and Wednesday, it is very cold out there, especially Tuesday. We may not get out of the 40s during the day, and especially looking at Wednesday morning is that hard freeze for all of South Mississippi. Freezing temperatures may linger. If you have those New Year's plans, New Year's Eve, we could be looking at temperatures in the 40s and 30s. Wind chill even lower than that, as the breeze behind the front may linger for a few days.